Megan. I'm here with you, Go To Be Kidding, where we want to help you along your homesteading journey and let you join us as we learn and grow and try to improve our farm and our family. So today we are out here with the sheep. We are going to move them to their new pen, which is all set up. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why we move them and how often we move them and show you what it looks like right behind them. As you can see, we moved the sheep just over to the next pen. And so they're happy. They've got tall grass. This will last them just about 2 days. We're kind of stuck in between. If we move them the third day, it's a little bit too long. But if we move them, the first day, there's plenty left to eat. So just trying to figure out how often to move them. And the best way we can learn that is just by coming out here and moving them. And so each time we do it, we get a better feel for how much grass they have left, better feel for how long they can stay in one spot. It also makes it easy to keep track of parasite load. We can come in and monitor any poop on the ground and make sure that it looks good, make sure that we're not having any issues. This is the pasture they just came out of. You can see it looks all brown and stuff, mostly just all trampled and all cut very short. You can actually see a ridge behind the electric fence where they didn't get to all of that. And I let them through here. They paused at the opening because my electric charger is right here. Because what we do is we do a set of 4 squares with all the gates here in the middle. And we're able to rotate around 4 pastures without having to move that charger. You can see the new grass in this one. Much lusher, much bigger. And now they've actually already been through this area on our farm over the past year. This grass has come back even better than it was the first time around, and it's just so encouraging and exciting to see what happens. And that is part of why we do this management intensive grazing. By rotating them around, we are spreading out their manure in an even pattern across our field, and we're having them eat pasture. So this one they've already been to, and I'll have some drone footage to show you up above, but our whole yard looks like a patchwork quilt of spaces where they've already been and spaces where they haven't been yet. This allows us to utilize our yard the most efficient way. We aren't wasting space, we aren't getting manure everywhere, especially if we do feel like we're getting a parasite issue. We live in Middle Tennessee where hot and humid just make the parasites terrible. So I'm not sure that there's any way of not having any parasites, but we are trying to work towards that as best we can by moving them around and managing them for our pasture's health and for their own health. Management intensive grazing is something that always seemed a little intimidating, and it felt really hard to figure out at first. But once you get it going, it really is pretty simple. So keys are some sheep to move around. We use 2 of these Premier 1 sheep and goat fences. These are the 1035s. I think they also make, actually these might be 1042s. They also make a 935, which is 35 inches tall. And those would be better. They were just out of stock, and the 42s were great for us. So if we were to continue to buy more, we might go lower. We also put our goats in these same fences. I'm not sure I'd go lower for the goats. Both are easy to handle, easy to manage. I can manage one of these fences. They're 100-foot long. I can do it by myself. If I pick up the whole fence to move it, it's almost too much for me, but the first couple posts to put back out are a little awkward, and I can get it. If I have my sons around to help, then it makes it even easier because they help, kind of put in those first 2 for me, and then I can do it by myself. So again, we just have 2 nets for them, the one they're in and the one they're gonna move to. and we just move it to the next square ahead in our pasture. We've divided up our whole pasture into squares so we know how far they can go. Divided meaning we've used our white fence there actually as a measuring guide. Our 25 by 25 foot square that they're in with a 100-foot net takes up about 3 panels. So we've calculated how many panels all the way down the road we have, and then use that to figure out how many squares there are in this pasture. We can get about 80 days worth of grazing here in our front pasture with the sheep, and that is obviously plenty to have them come cycle back around. That's how we manage our sheep. That's how we intensively manage our pastures. It has been a huge blessing to us here on the farm to be able to do that, because it's allowed us to have more animals and not worry about disease and parasite load. If you have a chance to try it out, I would highly recommend it. It's a little untraditional to have the electric fences and to have to move them. It does require a little bit of work to move them every few days, but it's not a heavy burden. And the amount of time that I save not having to medicate my sheep, whether herbally or with conventional wormers, has more than made up for the amount of time that it takes to move the fences. So if you are on a farm or on a homestead, again, I would absolutely recommend looking into management intensive grazing.